Welcome to the deep dive. If you're involved in the trucking industry, and I mean, whether you're an owner, operator, a company driver, maybe managing a fleet, you know the ground feels, well, a little shaky right now.
It really does.
And this isn't just about some cyclical downturn. The sources we've pulled together, they show a massive interconnected transformation happening. It's like this perfect storm of a shaky economy, tech that just won't quit, and big shifts in how freight contracts are even being written.
And that combination, I mean, it's stressful, but the goal of this deep dive is to move past the fear. We're not here to just, deliver bad news about bankruptcies and robots.
Right.
Our sources give us a really clear 360-degree look at the risks, from big company shutdowns to the sudden reality of autonomy. But, and this is the important part, they also provide a clear, empowering playbook. We're really focusing on how drivers can build a kind of financial shield.
A financial shield. I like that. And that leads us to, I think, the single most important idea we found across all this material. For drivers today, the CDL is becoming a really powerful tool, or maybe a profitable chapter in your life. But it can no longer be seen as an automatic, guaranteed retirement plan.
That's it. Success and retiring on your own terms, it now depends on how wisely you use your off-duty time.
It's not just about the next dispatch, it's about leveraging that time for you.
It's a huge mindset shift. You have to start dedicating time to outthink the future instead of just trying to outwork the present.
Okay, let's dig into the hard data that supports that idea. Let's start with the concrete evidence of this instability that's making everybody so nervous.
Well, we have to begin with the economic signs. According to ACT research, we saw Class 8 truck orders in November drop. I mean, a stunning 47% year over year.
47%. That is not a small dip. That's a massive retreat signal from the industry. What does that kind of drop tell you about the confidence of the big carriers right now?
It tells you they're in full wait-and-see mode. They just lack confidence in the short-term future because, freight demand is soft, spot rates are brutally low.
But their costs are still going up?
Exactly. Their fixed costs, insurance, maintenance, compliance are all still rising. And they already bought so many trucks during the boom years, so now they have way too much capacity chasing too little freight.
And the practical reality of that decision hits the driver almost immediately. If carriers aren't buying new equipment, they are running their existing aging fleets longer and harder.
Precisely. For company drivers, this translates directly to running more miles on older, less reliable equipment. That means more time spent waiting for repairs, more breakdowns on the side of the road.
Which is a direct hit to your paycheck.
A direct hit to comfort, quality of life, and your earning potential, because you're sitting instead of rolling.
And we saw this weak market link directly to a huge operational pivot with CRST. I mean, CRST is a major name, and the reports are strong that they are phasing out their traditional over-the-road, coast-to-coast division, and fast.
It's a massive signal. CRST isn't disappearing. They're keeping their strong, dedicated, and final mile operations. But that traditional OTR model is reportedly being sidelined. Drivers who depended on that lifestyle are being told those jobs are ending.
The sources detailing the driver reaction are fascinating because they seem to split the community right down the middle. Veteran drivers, they often said, "We saw this coming."
Right, they'd point to years of declining freight rates and aggressively cut miles. But for the newer generation, who often get into OTR because it's sold as this stable career with high mileage promises, for them it was a major psychological hit.
They felt completely blindsided.
Totally. And this shift really highlights why OTR is failing. The high stress, the constant turnover, and low profitability are just making it unsustainable compared to more predictable regional work.
So this shift to regional isn't just about saving the carrier money, is it? Our sources suggest it's also a direct response to what drivers are asking for, a better quality of life.
Oh, absolutely.
Dedicated lanes mean predictable schedules, which has to help with retention compared to the chaos of the coast-to-coast hustle.
It absolutely is. The CRST move is a snapshot of the whole industry realizing they can't sustain a workforce that spends 300 days a year away from home for, increasingly marginal pay. The future is in specialization, not just endless miles.
Okay, so if the weak economy is the slow, grinding threat, then the technology we're seeing feels like a sudden earthquake.
Yeah.
Let's pivot to automation, because this is no longer theoretical, it is live.
The tech is undeniably here. You've got Daimler Truck and Torque Robotics partnering with Innoviz for Level 4 autonomous Class 8 rigs using advanced LiDAR sensors. And, for the listener who isn't a logistics tech expert, level 4 is the real game changer.
Explain that. What exactly does level 4 mean for the person in the cab?
It means the truck can handle all the dynamic driving tasks, accelerating, steering, braking in certain areas, which is usually highway cruising, without a human driver needing to supervise or intervene at all.
And we aren't talking about testing on some closed track somewhere. Driverless 18-wheelers are already running live freight hauling routes on Texas's SH-130.
Which happens to be the fastest highway in Texas.
Right. Companies like Aurora and Kodiak are using Texas as their launch pad. This is happening right now.
This is why it's so critical to look at the different perspectives on autonomy. The scare is real. Those long, boring highway stretches are the most vulnerable to being replaced by a robot. Long-haul mileage is going to shrink.
But, and this is the important part, the robots still need humans. That's the critical piece of this puzzle, isn't it?
That is the secret opportunity. The autonomous rigs, they won't handle city driving, construction zones, live loading, specialized inspections.
More complex dock maneuvers.
Exactly. All those tasks still require human intelligence and dexterity. So the job shifts from being an OTR mileage runner to a specialized local operator. We could see models where the driver handles the complex first mile and last mile stuff, and then, and here's the interesting part, they could actually be sleeping in the sleeper berth while the truck takes that long, boring overnight highway leg on its own.
So you're essentially being paid for non-driving labor. That's a huge recovery of personal time, which, brings us back to that financial shield idea. But first, let's talk about a surprising twist. Technology isn't just about robots, it's also dramatically increasing liability.
It is a profound irony. Fleets invested millions in high-tech safety gear dash cams, collision avoidance, advanced telematics, all specifically to reduce risk and, prove their drivers were in the right.
But now that same data is being weaponized against them in court.
It is.
How does safety gear designed to protect the driver suddenly become Exhibit A for the other side?
Well, plaintiff attorneys have gotten very sophisticated. They use dash cam footage to argue and often win that a driver should have reacted sooner, even if the reaction time was technically okay.
Wow.
Or they'll use telematics data to argue the company was negligent because they didn't immediately act on every single risky driver alert that the software flagged over the last 6 months. They turn predictive safety software against the company that installed it.
So the fleet installs the camera to prove the driver's innocence. But the camera ends up becoming this data stream that can be used to prosecute them if they don't manage every bit of that data perfectly.
Exactly. And this adds enormous immediate stress. Drivers are operating knowing that every hard brake, every swerve, every little action is logged and could be picked apart years later by a legal team. It completely changes the psychology in the cab.
Let's connect this liability problem and the OTR shift to the third major pressure, the rail system. We're seeing these massive rail giants merge, which creates an intermodal force that can move freight in just staggering bulk.
A single, continuous intermodal force. And for long-haul bulk shippers, it's faster and cheaper than traditional OTR trucking.
The threat seems obvious. Long-haul trucking could shrink even more if major shippers just switch their contracts over to the rails.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. The train is a massive threat to the long-haul model, but at the same time, it's a huge opportunity generator for regional trucking.
Because trains stop at rail yards. They don't deliver to storefronts.
They do not deliver to storefronts or loading docks. They still need the last mile solved by a human being.
Right.
Absolutely. So increased intermodal activity means a massive spike in demand for drayage. That's the short haul, moves in and out of the rail yards. It also creates demand for final mile and regional trucking, the lanes that are inherently safer from autonomy because they require all that complex maneuvering and human interaction.
So the smart driver needs to pivot to complement the rail network, not compete head-to-head with it.
That's the new mindset. You specialize in drayage, you cultivate those local broker relationships, and that protects you from both the robot and the railroad.
And that leads us to the crucial discussion. You, the listener, you're facing a weak economy, a company that might fold, a robot that might take your easy miles. How do you prepare for all this?
We have to synthesize all those risks into one central truth. Loyalty is not guaranteed. And that powerful CDL you hold is a tool, it's a ticket to stability, but it is not a retirement plan guarantee like it used to be.
This is where that core solution, from sources like Life as a Trucker really comes in. The whole strategy is about self-empowerment. This is the solution to all this pressure is to leverage the time you already have, your off-duty time, to create extra streams of recurring income.
and often using AI and digital tools to do it.
That's the key takeaway, isn't it? You have to start managing your mandatory off-duty or waiting time for yourself. But when we say creating extra income using AI, are we talking about drivers suddenly needing to become computer programmers? That seems like a huge leap.
Not at all. We are talking about leveraging accessible generative AI tools, not programming. Think of it this way. A driver spends hours waiting for a load, waiting for a dock, or on a mandated break. That is time that can be used to build systems that automate passive income.
Okay, give us a practical example. What does that actually look like for a professional driver, not a full-time content creator?
Well, the sources suggest focusing on niche digital content or specialized digital storefronts. A driver knows logistics, truck maintenance, or specific regional routes better than almost anyone. They can use AI to help write, design, and manage content.
Like what, a blog or a social media channel?
Sure, say a blog or an Instagram channel focusing only on the best truck stops in Texas, or highly specific maintenance guides for older equipment. They can then monetize that with affiliate links or ad revenue.
So they're taking their unique, specialized knowledge that they already have from being in the cab and turning it into a marketable asset during their dead time.
Exactly. And this online income then acts as that vital financial shield. It protects against the ups and downs of freight rates, it buffers against economic swings, or it's a life raft if a company goes belly up. The goal is complete financial control.
It's building a buffer that lets you retire when you want to, on your terms, no matter what the freight market is doing.
Right.
The actionable steps for you, the listener, seem clear. You can't just complain and ignore the change. You have to adapt. Focus on building income that doesn't depend on dispatch calls. And use your off-duty time to learn these new digital skills while you are still driving and earning your primary income.
The message is fundamentally proactive and it's respectful. It acknowledges how intense the job is while reminding drivers that the hours spent waiting, the hours the company doesn't pay for, are yours. You have to invest them in your own future. You outthink the system instead of being run over by it.
So what does this all mean for the long haul? The industry is shifting dramatically. It's moving away from that unpredictable OTR dependency and towards specialized regional routing and critically personal financial self-reliance.
The biggest lesson here isn't just about what you haul or where you run your miles. It's about the infrastructure you build in your off-duty time. The knowledge and the financial independence you build outside the cab, that is the real insurance policy against an unpredictable industry. The adaptable, prepared driver is the one who will win the long game.
And this leads to a final provocative thought for you, the listener, to mull over. If autonomous trucks do become commonplace on those long hauls, and they enable you to sleep in the sleeper berth while the truck rolls down the highway, you're essentially being paid for non-driving labor. So the question for you is, are you using that recovered time just to rest, or are you investing that time into building a backup plan that makes the truck work for you instead of you constantly working for the truck?